Hello everyone, welcome to this session. We are discussing some past year papers and currently we are discussing the legal reasoning section of CLAT 2026 that happened last year. So in continuance of that, as you know that how important it is to go through the past year papers and understand the kind of questions that you are tested in your CLAT paper. So let's start with the third passage and let's see the kind of questions that are there. So starting with the passage, just give me 1 second. Okay, so this passage is the recent Supreme Court judgments in state of Tamil Nadu versus Governor of Tamil Nadu affirmed that a governor cannot exercise an absolute or pocket veto on bills, holding that if assent is withheld, the bill must be returned to the legislature as soon as possible for reconsideration, with the governor having no discretion to withhold assent again. So the governor cannot exercise absolute power, he cannot keep the bill indefinitely, and if the bill must be returned to the legislature as soon as possible. The court established that inaction or indefinite delay is illegal and unconstitutional, prescribing timelines for the governor's decision and even deeming assent on pending bills in the Tamil Nadu case. So not only is this action, this inaction by the governor is of indefinite delay, it's illegal, it's unconstitutional, and even the bills he is sitting with, they can be given deemed passed by the court, as has happened in the Tamil Nadu case. So deeming assent is also there in the Tamil Nadu case, establishing a critical precedent for judicial review of gubernatorial powers. The Supreme Court explicitly rejected the governor's power to an absolute or pocket veto, which allows for bills to be indefinitely delayed. If a governor withholds assent to a bill, they are constitutionally obligated to return it to the State Assembly for reconsideration according to the proviso in Article 200 of the Constitution of India. So we have Article 200 of the Constitution of India that obligates the governor to return the bill to the State Assembly for reconsideration. If the State Assembly reenacts a bill after it has been returned by the governor has no choice but to give assent. So once he has returned the bill and the bill comes back with or without changes, the governor has to accept it, has to give its assent, and cannot now the governor does not have any choice. The court held that indefinitely delaying or remaining silent on bills is unconstitutional and that governors must act as soon as possible on bills. The judgment expanded the scope of judicial review by setting timelines for the governor's action on bills, allowing state government to approach courts if these timelines are breached. So the timeline has been mandated and the assent has to come within that timeline, or whatever the procedure has to happen, it has to happen within the timeline given by the court. So in the case of the Tamil Nadu, the court used its power under Article 142 to deem assent on the long pending bills, which had the effect of making any subsequent decision by the president on those bills void. So this is the passage, a very short passage, around 276 words. So let's see the kind of questions that come from this passage. Question number 71. The Legislative Assembly of State X passes a controversial bill and sends it to the governor for assent. The governor, strongly disagreeing with the bill's provision, decides to neither give assent nor return the bill. So the governor can either give assent or return the bill for reconsideration. Here the governor decided that I will not give assent nor I will return the bill, and it will be forgotten over the time. Which of the following statements accurately describes the legal position of the governor's action? So according to the passage, what should happen? Option A. The governor's action is a legitimate exercise of a pocket veto, allowing for indefinite delay of bills. Now we know that the passage in the beginning only says that the governor does not have an absolute power, the governor does not have a pocket veto. So of course this option is not the correct answer, and we can eliminate it without even looking at the other options. So option A can be eliminated because it's directly in contradiction of what the passage is saying. Option B says the governor's inaction is unconstitutional as the Supreme Court has explicitly rejected the power to an absolute or pocket veto, and they are obligated to return the bill as soon as possible if assent is withheld. This looks like the correct option, but let's look at option C and D before deciding. The governor is within their rights to delay the bill indefinitely as long as they do not explicitly reject it, reflecting the true spirit of gubernatorial discretion. So this, as you know, is definitely not the correct position. The governor cannot hold the bill indefinitely. That is what the whole passage is about. So we can eliminate option C. Option D says the bill will automatically lapse after 6 months of gubernatorial inaction, making the delay a de facto rejection. So if you this is the exact issue that has been addressed in the passage, that you cannot delay indefinitely, and the bill will automatically lapse after 6 months. This is not the correct answer. So D is not the correct option, C is not the correct option. We are left with B, that directly says what the passage is saying, that the governor's inaction is unconstitutional. So this is the correct answer. B is the correct answer of this question. Moving forward, Governor Y receives a bill from the State Assembly and after careful consideration decides to withhold assent, promptly returning it with a message for reconsideration. The State Assembly then reenacts the bill without any change and sends it back to the governor. What is the constitutional obligation of Governor Y at this point? So he withheld his assent and returned the bill with a message for reconsideration. Now the bill has come back again to the governor. Now what the governor can do? Governor Y has no choice but to give assent to the reenacted bill, as the Supreme Court has ruled that the governor cannot withhold assent for a second time. We'll keep this option aside. Option B says Governor Y can again withhold assent if they continue to disagree with the bill's content, sending it back for further reconsideration. Now the passage has said that there is nothing that the governor can do. You see here, if the State Assembly reenacts a bill after it has been returned by the governor has no choice but to give assent to it and cannot withhold it for a second time. So second time governor cannot withhold it. That makes A as the correct option, that governor has no choice but to give assent to the reenacted bill. Let's also look at option C and D. What this is: Governor Y can refer the bill to the President of India for a final decision, exercising a higher discretionary power. No, this does not come under the higher discretionary power of the governor, and nothing of the sort is mentioned in the passage, so we will not go with option C. Option D says Governor Y can dissolve the State Assembly for consistently passing erroneous bills. So this is definitely not one of the powers of the governor, where for passing erroneous bill the assembly is dissolved, and also there we find no mention of the dissolution of a State Assembly by the governor in the passage. So we will not go with D, we will not go with C, we will not go with B because second time it cannot hold assent. A is the correct answer. Governor cannot withhold assent for a second time. So A is the correct answer of question number 72. Okay, next question. After the Supreme Court's judgment in state of Tamil Nadu versus Governor of Tamil Nadu, a state governor holds a bill for 8 months without taking any action, neither assenting nor returning it. The state government believes that this delay is unconstitutional. Based on the precedent set by the judgment, what recourse is available to the state government? So what the state government can do in such a situation? Option A, the state government must wait for a full year before any action can be taken, as gubernatorial delays are typically permitted for this duration. Is this in line with the passage? We will see. Let's look at option B. The bill automatically lapses after 6 months of inaction, making any further action by the state government unnecessary. Option C says the state governor's only recourse is to reenact the bill, which would then compel the governor to act. So the state governors are going to reenact the bill so to get the attention of the governor. That is option C. Option D says the state governor can approach the courts, as the judgment had prescribed timelines for the governor's action on bills since indefinite delay was construed unconstitutional. Now see, in the passage the governor has not taken any action for 8 months. So similar is the cases of the case of the Tamil Nadu. So based on that judgment, yes, the state government can approach the courts. The judgment had prescribed timelines for the governor's action on bills, and indefinite delay was considered unconstitutional, construed unconstitutional. So this is the most obvious choice, the most correct answer that takes care of everything that we have in the passage. No need to go back to the passage because you know the passage talks about prescribed timelines. So you can directly choose the option D as the correct answer for this question. Okay, next question. In a situation mirroring the Tamil Nadu case, a Supreme Court bench is reviewing several instances where a particular governor has indefinitely delayed assent on multiple bills passed by the State Assembly despite constitutional obligations. If the Supreme Court decides to follow the precedent established in the state of Tamil Nadu versus Governor of Tamil Nadu regarding pending bills, what would be a likely outcome for these delayed bills? Now, there are certain bills that are delayed, like it happened in the Tamil Nadu case, and similar situation is here. So now, what is the outcome of these delayed bills? The Supreme Court would order the governor to explicitly reject all the delayed bills. Will the Supreme Court do that? Since no action are being taken, can the Supreme Court order the governor? No, the Supreme Court cannot order the governor for rejecting all the delayed bills. It is not given in any provision, no mention of such in the passage. The Supreme Court would direct the State Assembly to conduct a public referendum on each delayed bill. So this again is adding one layer which you know is not given in the passage and not there in the provision. The Supreme Court would direct the State Assembly to conduct a public referendum? No, there is no mention of public referendum anywhere in the passage, and this is not the power that the Supreme Court will exercise. C says, the Supreme Court could deem assent on the pending bills, establishing a critical precedent for judicial review of gubernatorial powers in such cases as it did in the Tamil Nadu case. So exactly what happened in the Tamil Nadu case, the bills that were pending, they were given deemed assent. So I'll show you the passage also. See, here, one second. See, the court established that inaction or indefinite delay is illegal and unconstitutional, prescribing timelines for the governor's decision and even deeming assent on pending bills in the Tamil Nadu case. So just like it happened in the Tamil Nadu case where the pending bills were deemed assent, similar can happen here. So that will be the correct answer, where the Supreme Court could deem assent on the pending bills directly given in the passage. C is the correct answer. Moving forward, a newly appointed governor publicly declares that he intends to use his discretion to permanently halt any legislation he deems inappropriate by simply not acting on the bills, citing an inherent gubernatorial power. How does this declaration align with the constitutional interpretation provided by the Supreme Court of India? So there is a newly appointed governor. He said that if I do not agree with the bill, I will not give assent. I will not act on the bill. So now with this, how does it align with the passage? How does it align with the interpretation provided by the Supreme Court of India? The governor's declaration is consistent with the broad discretionary power traditionally afforded to governors, allowing them significant influence over state legislation. Is this the correct answer? Option B says, the governor's declaration is valid only for non-money bills, as money bills have different constitutional protocols. Nowhere in the passage it talks about money bill. It is talking about the general power of the governor to withhold assent and to whether they can hold the bill indefinitely. It does not differentiate between money bill and non-money bill. So B can definitely not be the correct answer. The governor's declaration is partially valid, as indefinite delay is permissible only if the state assembly is not in session. It is not valid, as we know from the passage that this is the exact issue that is being addressed in the passage that has been addressed in the Tamil Nadu case by the Supreme Court. So C can also not be the correct answer. Option D says the governor's declaration is unconstitutional. The Supreme Court explicitly rejected the governor's power to an absolute or pocket veto directly given in the passage, and this is the correct answer, that this is unconstitutional as has been mentioned in the passage several times, and the Supreme Court explicitly rejected the governor's power to absolute or pocket veto as happened in the Tamil Nadu case. So we will go with D as the correct answer. The governor's declaration is consistent with the broad discretionary power. No, this is the exact power against which the Supreme Court gave the ruling of the Tamil Nadu case. So A is not correct answer, B is not the correct answer, C is not the correct answer. We are left with D, which is governor's declaration is unconstitutional. Okay, what are the three primary courses of action for a governor when a bill is enacted by the State Assembly and sent to him or her for his or her assent? Which option correctly list these three courses? So what course of action does the governor can take? He can give assent, veto absolutely, refer to the Supreme Court. So as you know that he cannot veto absolutely. The whole passage is talking about that he does not have absolute power, he does not have absolute pocket veto. So this is the wrong option here. So we will not go with A. Option B says give assent, withhold assent, allowing the bill to fail unless the proviso is followed, or recommend amendments. This give assent, yes, he can give assent, but can he withhold assent allowing the bill to fail? This is not the correct course of action, and this is not even mentioned in the passage. The passage says that you can withhold assent with the option to return for reconsideration. You can say ask the State Assembly to reconsider the bill, which you can see in option C. Give assent, withhold assent with the option to return for reconsideration, not for allowing the bill to fail unless the provision is followed, but for reconsideration, or reserve for the consideration of the President. This is also he can do. So C is the correct answer, where he can either give assent, he can either withhold assent with the option to return for reconsideration, or he can reserve for the consideration of the President. Option D says give assent, return for consideration, or refer to the union government. Of course, they will not be referring to the union government. He can reserve for the consideration of the President and not the union government. So C is the correct option in this question. Okay, so this is all about this passage. So I hope you realize that almost every question was very easy, and it could be done by referring to the passage alone. The passage gives the exact wordings, the keywords that are used in the passage. You will find the same keywords in the relevant options. You just have to apply the reasoning given in the passage to the given question and arrive at the right answer. So that's all from this passage. Thank you so much. See you in the next session, where we will discuss another passage of